So a handful of runs is by far the, not going to be a way to prove anything really, but part of this is for fun, as we get Herald and random item stats, if that matters, because, as you may have seen before, we're playing with a certain character and a certain backstory. So, as we move in here and celebrate our, hopefully not loss, we're gonna try our best still. We still try our best, and I do think this strategy works out, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, then, well, you're about to find out. So, as we get into Herald, Eldritch, Parasite, Kana, with random item stats, that's not gonna matter, because we're just gonna be rolling for a spell, for those who don't know. And, yeah, it'll be evident for itself. Charisma, second encounter, Takshisan, strength, knowledge, and maybe a second mystery check? But we're just gonna lose like 6 stamina, 3 reason, possibly 10 doom altogether, but we'll find out when it happens. Also, yeah, quick little asterisk here for anyone newer to the game, this channel, or both. The History Club is something you need to unlock, so hey. But even if you unlocked it, like Kana, you need to unlock everything to play as Kana anyway, so by the time you get Kana, you should have everything unlocked, so yeah. But on the topic of whether Kana is a good character or not, I do think Kana is a good character. Definitely top 25% if you allow yourself all the rules. Also, I need to look at my mysteries. I was flabbergasted for a moment as we get Nails, Botanist, Teacher, Painting, and Coma, because I thought I still had custom content on. I should not. That's for the other series that is now over 100 episodes long. But for good oh, I didn't mean to do that, by the way. If we can free up funds, I guess we'll find out this time, now that we've freed up funds. But otherwise, Herald's probably going to give us 5 doom, so really we're working with 14%. I should have grabbed the Gruesome Totem, by the way. Well, we can grab Mind Drain and just get a move on. So now in encounters, we're nigh indestructible, save for a few encounters that are double encounters, and one of those is a boss, and I don't have that boss this run, so oh, my cheer is complaining underneath my heavy body. Even though I've lost over literally 10% of my own body weight. So hey, by the way, what are my threat levels? High Forest, Max Hospital, Max Village. We'll just do Forest. Yeah, I'll just do Forest. I was moving my eyes around in real life as if you could see that, but I was thinking for a moment. But I forgot what I was talking about. We're not going to enter the portal. We're just going to take the curse here and then take the doom on top because, well, we can find out. Now, if I roll a 5 or 6 on dexterity, I'm going to regret my choices a bit more. But, starting off with a 9 as my first roll, that's not great. 8 or below, I'll accept. I might complain about an 8, but really, I don't really care about rolling 8 or 7. It's 9 or above that really irked me. Because when you get 33%, 50% of the time, that's not exactly fair, theoretically wise. Practical wise, it doesn't really matter. Again, the reason why we don't care about encounters is because we can just do this. And if you don't know why this is happening, I should mute myself, but yes, that's how I clear my throat. So, Kana has 8 max reason and 8 max stamina. No matter what happens, so like Eldritch Parasite is supposed to set you to 33 max stamina, max reason. Or Mind Drain is supposed to take away 1 max reason as its cost. I was going to say quote unquote. Yes, its cost. It doesn't happen because Kana's passive effect takes priority. So their max stamina and max reason will always be 8 max stamina, 8 max reason. Now that's for good and bad, and I say it's for bad on Eldritch Parasite, but that's heavily weighed. That's heavily counterbalanced by the fact that if you have Mind Drain and Ghostly Spear, you are nigh indestructible. Or both. You don't even need both. So actually only getting one, you only need one. Because there's no cost, so both of those spells are the same save for the amount of damage they do, but you get the point. And then Flesh Regrowth on a non-Eldritch Parasite run means you will never die to stamina. So, hey. Unless you just take 8 stamina or more in one sitting, but unless a weird custom character, an enemy comes out, that should not happen. Actually, we do have Coma, but we can take Teacher and or Nails first. Out of curiosity, I think, can you defeat this school as well? Oh my goodness, my throat in this time of the night. Anywho. Oh yeah, we'll prepare here. I don't mind taking the Doom here. As Kana, we shouldn't really be dying too many times. You'll probably die like 3 to 4 times as Kana on Eldritch Parasite. If you have Mind Drain. Now, rolling 11 isn't great, but that's what I mean. So effectively, you are working with Eldritch Parasite in the way that you have you have less max stamina, max reason overall. So what I mean by that is, yeah, let's just switch this to the hospital now. What I mean by that is you're planning to, or you're trying not to die, but if you had to look at how much stamina and reason you'll lose during the whole run, you should probably be looking to lose no more than about 20 stamina, 20 reason for the whole run. And if you have Mind Drain or Ghostly Spear, that is certainly a lot more possible. And that means, so if we consider the math behind that, as I just lose my reason there, so you don't want to lose 21 stamina, 21 reason. The reason is because, well, effectively, you will be dying 3 times on both, and that is 30% doom. You might be able to take that, but that's why I say nowhere more than that, because at that time, you know, whether you take 21, 22, 20 damage, for example, if I take 8 stamina damage right here, effectively I've paid off about 8 stamina in that point. So, therefore, I end up dying. Basically, you don't want to die more than 5 times, I say, because the amount of doom you get on a Harbinger run is going to be quite high, in my opinion, most of the time. Obviously, this value decreases as you are better in World of War, whether you remember events, whether you get into a strategy, or your RNG is just generally good. Either way, you don't want to be dying more than about 4, 5, or 6 times. 6 times at max, but any more than that, and you risk you risk pain, basically, in my opinion. And again, I could be doing a very, 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 well, it's not very small, but I could be doing an improvement here, which is to improvise during turns that I defeat an enemy with Mind Drain, because that effectively gets you an extra item. If you can do that, I promise you, you will see a difference. It's not going to be significant, but it will matter. And yeah, you don't need to throw items. That's not what that is not what I'm proposing when I say use improvise. I mean, if you have, say, mysteries like ramen or sailors, then you want to throw it away to get extra experience. And in the case of sailors, it doesn't really matter because you can just Mind Drain and or Ghostly Spear. But what I mean by that is you're doing side quests, essentially. Or maybe you do want to throw an item at an enemy to do something else. I'm sure there's a reason to do so. I feel like I've thought of a reason before, but anywho. 6 Charisma or 4 Knowledge. 6 Charisma, and I rolled a 9. We can use the Monument. I shouldn't be losing any more, and if it asks for funds, that's even better, because I have items to sell. So, 50% Doom, pretty much near the start of our 3rd mystery, isn't so bad. It's a bit dangerous, but again, in my opinion, encounters are around that 50% of where you're going to get hurt as we lose our stamina again. But yeah, at this point, so in my mind, I say if I'm going to die 3 more times, I'm going to be at 72% Doom, which is very, very dangerous for me. Now, at this point, I could be taking choices that do not increase Doom, but then if you die to Stamina or Reason Iskana anyway, you're losing Doom. So why lose Reason or Stamina when you can just take 1 Doom in some of these events, as the previous 2 events have shown. Alternatively, I could trade off my Stamina and Reason to lose 5 Doom instead of losing 10 Doom between both Stamina and Reason, but hey. Off we go. So at this point, we're really just leveling up so we can not take more damage in the Lighthouse, really. And that's all I really need to say. So at this point, yeah, alternatively, the handcuffs that I picked up in the police station are just going to be used to throw away somewhere. And that's very unfortunate, because usually when you're picking up items, you can at least sell them. But yeah, for the handcuffs and, say, if you improvise items, you can't really sell those for anything. The handcuffs you can't sell outright. And then the branch and broken bottles, I think, can sell for sell at 0, but I don't remember if they can sell for funds on a random item stat run. It hasn't happened enough. By the way, painting. Hopefully we get some Doom decreases in this mansion. If not, well, we do our best to survive. We can survive without that, but I don't think we can. So, focusing in, locking in this run just to make sure. I could take extra Doom here. Now we just want to take the Reason. We rolled a 10, but that was to be expected. Now, am I going to lose 4 more Reason in the course of 2 mysteries? Probably, but that event loses us 5 Doom anyway, I might as well take the... As much as this might not make sense at the moment before I explain, take less Doom by losing Reason. So the reason I say that as we autopilot through the Rumu Ghost here, who I'd normally be worried about, is because, so that choice with that shrine, if you fail that choice, you take 5 Doom. So in another way, you can consider it saying, well, if you're gonna die to, if you die to Reason, you lose 5 Doom. So in an event where you lose, or Doom increases by 5, you've effectively taken 8 Reason. Does that make any sense? So I might as well lose 2 Reason, which per point of Reason is less Doom overall, than take 5 Doom straight up. That's the other consideration I'm doing when I make choices that say increase Doom by 1, because per point of Reason, I could take 2 Reason or I could increase Doom by 1. Between the two of those, I think taking 1 Doom is the better one. So yes, I am still crunching math. So, and if this were a normal run where I were not essentially exploiting Mind Drain and or Ghostly Spear, I would probably be dead by now. The encounters that I fought take too much away, and we can skip the painting here, so that's not an issue, but encounters like the school, encounters, or basically bosses, my Doom would be at least 83%, I promise you that. Even with, perhaps, the army knife, and definitely against the school we would have, things. By the way, can I improvise into a kick, by the way? If I could, that would be cool. Yeah, we can. So we'll grab this extra item just to grab it. And off I go. We lose the bath, doesn't matter. And roads closed, which could matter. But as we enter our last mystery here... Yes, I almost clicked on the bath. Into coma we go, but we set the police patrols in the hospital, so as long as that doesn't go to high, we should be relatively okay. I could just end up making decisions. I'll definitely die twice, so effectively we're at 84% Doom. But if we run into encounters back-to-back, that's actually good for us, because we're using Mind Drain here. So on a kind of tangent note, that is still... How should I say it? It's still a subset of the topic of World of Horror. Trying to figure out what I was going to say. Gosh dang it, me. I forgot what I was going to say. I can't believe it. Why do I preface my thoughts with so much things? Anywho, into strength I go. I was going to say something else that was kind of important. Oh, yeah. So, the reason why I didn't... I make it a house rule not to use Mind Drain and or Ghostly Spear with Kana, or Flesh Regrowth on a non-Eldritch Parasite run, is because I assume that something like that's going to be patched, so I don't want to be employing strategies that are likely to be patched out. But, I mean, at least from when I think of, you know, this specific instance, if I were the developer of World of Horror, again, that's not some wish fantasy, that's just theoretical talk. This is just theoretical talk. I would try to make it so that Kana obeys the rules of, say, Mind Drain and or Ghostly Spear, and backstories like Eldritch Parasite, so on and so forth. And so I'm not going to use strategies that are going to be obsolete, is another way I want to say it. That was a big word to use, but you get where I'm coming from, I think. I think we should be okay. If I run into out of funds, well, that's going to be interesting. We do have 8 strength, so I can afford to... Effectively, I have about 11 stamina left. I don't want to lose more. I don't want to lose more than 10 stamina and 10 reason. But at this point, like, I'm rolling 10 still. I'm in so much pain, and now I can't even monument. So we definitely lose, yeah, an extra 5 Doom. But at this point, we should be okay. If we're not okay, it's because I've forgotten my second encounter or mystery. I think I don't remember what my second mystery was actually. I think it was teacher, but I definitely don't remember my second encounter. So we'll be fine because we have 8 strength, stamina, and reason-wise. What I'm worried about, and we have a light source, funny enough, but we don't have the light source check. We have the charisma check, which I could have 8 charisma for, but doesn't matter. Basically, if I had that gruesome totem, I think we would have survived this guaranteed, even if he failed this second encounter check. But now that I'm at this point, so I did footage first. Did I fight anything in footage? I don't remember at all. Yeah, I fought the Dream Eater because its big long nose always... I remember that enemy, basically. Did I fight anything between... Oh, Shiro-san. It would have to be, right? Yeah, Botanist. Yeah. essentially that was an easier logic problem because there was no way I could have fought the enemies in school, which were the gore-covered student and the school, before I fought Shiro-san in Botanist, especially if I remember the Dream Eater. If I didn't fight anything in Botanist except Shiro-san, then it would have been a bit trickier for me to find out, but because the fourth enemy would have been something that I wouldn't remember, but because I remember the Dream Eater, it's easy. Or it was easy that time. Now, at this point, you'd be saying, well, Jordan, if you just remember your second encounter, that would be fine. And you're right about that. But, you know, when your memorization fails, you have logic, because we're human beings. Just like thinking about the... Oh, by the way, teacher, yeah, teacher. So, yeah, without further ado, I was going to say something else about the second encounter check, but if I remember, I'll talk about it. Otherwise, this has been the Eldritch Parasite Kana runs. If you want to see more, let me know. Otherwise, if you want to see some other kind of runs, always let me know, because I will be glad to play them as someone who plays World of Horror a lot. Even though that wasn't the intent of this channel, but I guess I'll see you later. Not going to take much more of your time. Thank you for watching, by the way. Yeah, thank you for watching. Bye!